I'm Dan.
And I'm Patience Hoag.
And we started the railroad in '97. It is the Wild Eagle Railroad. And we started this open house. Well, this is our 7th year. And we started it mainly to promote garden railroading and hopefully get clubs in the valley working together. So this year we have probably about, I think, 4 or 5 clubs working, from Sun City Grand to Sun City West to ABTO to the Adobe Mountain Railroad, which has a very big railroad at the park, and they got HO, N scale, and a big G scale layout going on. The railroad here, we keep growing it every year, and we have, of course, overhead train systems outside. And we just started a new diorama with a couple reversing units with a rack train and a trolley that we're going to keep switching out the dioramas. We do this open house here, and we also do one at Christmas time, so we try to switch out different scenes and stuff. On the layout, we have 3 main lines. I'm getting a group of guys together now that come over and help me out, and just
some girls.
Yeah, some girls, which
saying.
Is great, and also some younger people also, which is a lot of fun. To me, that's part of the garden railroading, is enjoying it with friends and just having fun with it. And they come over, they change scenes around and whatever. It's great because they're having a great time, and they smile and laugh, and we make fun of each other and have a good time. And the neat thing about the open houses is, I think anyways, I know it's sort of stressful for you sometimes because you're trying to get food ready for some people that are helping and stuff like that and everything go on, but we also have a couple overheads inside the house, and Patience gives tours through the house and everything, which is really a lot of fun. And
it is fun.
And then of course she makes fun of me and everything too.
It's
so
great.
You know, so
behind his back, say anything I want.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So that's a neat part of it, because we take them to the house. And the fun part about, we keep growing this open house. Now, I think this year we have about 9 vendors. We have a big layout set up by ABTO out front, and we're trying to get more demonstrations and more things like that happening. This year, we actually have the master gardeners with us. So we're trying to bring in a whole new group of people, then get them involved in trains also, so we can get the gardeners and put trains in their gardens and stuff, and just try to grow the hobby in any way we can.
And on that gardening theme, speaking from a different perspective from someone that doesn't particularly like trains as a hobby, like myself, I pretty much tolerate them and they're fun, but it's not really my hobby. The way that I can, kind of dovetail my interests onto this is the gardening aspect of it, and trying to come up with ideas for plants and colors and textures to kind of add, I don't know, more interest to the layout, give people additional things to look at, and it gives me something to do outside that helps him, and it's fun for me too. So I always liked gardening. I always liked working outdoors and stuff. I can't say that I enjoy working outdoors in the summer here. So fortunately we have a drip system, and so a lot of the plant life that you see here is on the drip, and so it does pretty well, and the shade cloth really helps too. So,
well, the fun part about that is we go to the Lowe's or Home Depot or some nursery or whatever, and we have fun picking out plants and seeing which one we're going to get to grow next. And makes a lot of fun.
Yeah, if they live, they live, and if they don't make it, it's okay. We'll start all over again.
We'll try something new.
It's not like we failed. There's just some things that we're finding out through trial and error do very well, and other things that will not make it. So no matter how much care and attention. So anyway, it looks really good this year. There's a lot of color this year. So.
And that's what we're trying to get across to people. That's why we actually have a couple women helping us run trains this year, and a couple young boys. And we're trying to get people, as they come to the open house, hey, I could do garden railroading. I could have fun with my family. We try to promote it as a family hobby so that parents can help their kids learn how to build things, learn about plants. I mean, there's so many different aspects. Use your imagination instead of sitting in front of the video game. Get out there and do something. Do something with your family. We have a great time, and my kids don't necessarily like trains, but they like to come out and they like to show their friends what's going on. They love to tell people about everything that's going out here, even though they'd never come out here and might do anything, but you know what I mean? But their friends like it.
We abused them when they were younger and made them come out here and help us with weeding and picking up leaves and things like that. Talk about slave labor. But that may have fried them a little bit, but they are, I think, pretty proud of what we've done back here, and it is pretty spectacular. So.
And it's a lot of fun.
It is fun.
And the neat thing about it is you come out here and just get away from reality. And
the great part about this hobby is that you come home to do it. You don't have to go to the bowling alley, and you don't have to go off somewhere else.
Right.
You know, if Dan's going to be relaxing and having fun, he'll probably be outside back here messing around with the trains and getting stuff working right and rearranging. And one thing about Dan too is that it can never be boring. It can't just be a loop of track that goes around in a circle. It has to go around and over and through, and you know, he wants it to be very realistic, and so it looks good. You did a great job, Dan.
Aw.
Oh.
Well, we want people to come back each open house and always look for what did we do different? Did we change things around? Did we have a new scene? What did we add?
Things will never be static around here. They're always going to be changing, that's for sure.
So we want to and that's what we want to get across to other people is, hey, you can do that. We have other people come in and help us do scenes only because they got all sorts of great ideas and changed everything around. I might not always like it, but usually I do, and I go, wow, I wish I would have thought of that. You know, but you're interacting with people and you're having a good time and you're letting other people enjoy the hobby with you. And I think a lot of people miss out on that because they don't have other people come over and just not just run trains but build things and just enjoy the camaraderie with other people and just have a great time with
some
it.
Fun people.
Yeah.
When we got married, I didn't know that he had a train issue, but after we had our first child, he contacted his brother to get a hold of his old HO set because they had one when they were kids, and so he sent out half, and then he started building stuff in the garage on a big plywood board, and he'd make mountains and then tear it down. It made a horrible mess in the house, and it took up a whole room, and you know, it wasn't much to participate in from a family perspective, and it certainly didn't do anything for the look of the house. Well, then one year we got a bigger train, a G-scale train, to go around our Christmas tree, and that was pretty much it. After we got that train, then all hope was lost, and he got several more, and I mean, he had track going all over the bottom of the house and driving the cats crazy, and it grew from there, and he joined a train club and built steel bridges for them, for club members, and then his hobby just went from there. So the great part about this hobby to me is that it makes our backyard look so great. I mean, it really looks nice back here, and it's a lot of fun. And it's a little more practical to justify a hobby that occupies your backyard as opposed to one that, you know, occupies a whole room of your house. And with the overhead train systems, many people don't utilize their ceiling for anything anyway. So it's kind of a nice conversation piece, and that also adds a lot of interest to the house. So.
Well, I started my business, my welding business, in 1983, and in probably about 95 or 96 is when I sort of found out about the train, and then I started looking around, and I thought, well, nobody really does any steel bridges, and I hadn't really started my layout. I was just working at it, you know, getting going, and so I started doing a few bridges, and met a guy named Barry from Las Vegas who lives in town here now, and he directed me to Lone Star Bridge and abutments. And we started talking back and forth, and I put a little preview or whatever, or new product review in the Garden Railroad magazine. And I got a few calls and sold a few bridges, and I didn't really know what I was doing. But it was fun, and I thought, well, I better do a brochure. So I did a brochure, a small brochure, and created a few more bridges, and then it sort of grew from there. And then later down the line, a few years later, I started doing overheads, and now I do portables, and now I do a turntable and double track signal bridges and water towers and really steel structures, or really whatever you want. People send me pictures and bridges or other items, and we just really create whatever you want to create, and it's really not very fun at all, but you know, I have to do it.
Oh, okay. Please.
Hi, I'm Dan, and this is Patience, and welcome to the Wild Eagle Railroad. We have quite a few new things this year. We're developing our patio up on the porch there, and we're having a couple reversing units, and we're starting to do dioramas, and we're starting to develop into a European theme, and hopefully you'll like it. Of course, it's not done as usual in life, but we have more done than last year, and there'll be more next year, so we're trying to give you something to look forward to come back. Also, we have several new things. We're starting to do metal buildings, and so of course I have to have some of those on my layout, and we developed an interesting town. We hope that you enjoy it, and see if my wife would like to talk about the plants now and different things that she does and tells me what to do about.
I don't tell you to do anything, I just suggest. We did have some challenges this year with the foliage. We had a hard freeze in January this past year, and in Phoenix it can be a little more devastating than in other areas of the country because our plant life are just not used to that kind of extreme weather. Initially it didn't look like we had a lot of damage, and really we didn't, and the damage that we did have, was easily replaced. However, it did impact the look of the layout this year. In fact, this past weekend I was scrambling to get some more flowers, some more colors, some more texture in there to replace the greenery that we did lose. However, the largest component of our greenery on the layout is intact. It looks great, actually. So I guess I can't complain too much, but I was a little panicky this past weekend, but it all worked out. And as far as the changes to the outdoor layout, like I said last year, nothing around here stays the same for very long. There's always something new, always a big change, always, some kind of evolving of a scene or a town or whatever. I'm really, really, really pleased with the buildings that Dan has begun to make, and I want to take complete and total credit for those, which I will, because I really didn't like that town up there very good. It was kind of, I don't want to, there you go, that's a good word. That's a better word than the one I was going to use.
It looked used like the little town it comes from.
It looked rough. It looked like it was definitely on the wrong side of the tracks. But now the town looks, it looks completely unique. And the neat part about it was Dan talked to me this past year about, getting my ideas a little bit more inside and outside on the railroad, and my recurring theme or passion is Disneyland. Now, you can't really do Disneyland much justice in a backyard. However, little touches really kind of, I don't know, get me excited and stuff. And so the town, actually, we modeled some of the building roof lines like the roof lines on Main Street USA in Disneyland. I showed Dan a picture of Main Street, and he drew them up, and when he got this plasma cutter, we had decided, to maybe just make building silhouettes, just, the front part. Well, then that kind of dovetailed into another part where he could make a whole building out of metal, and so that's how I'm taking credit for the whole thing. I'm just saying.
You did a great job taking credit.
Thank you.
And sort of one of the neat things that we sort of evolved from that was, anytime you want to put signs on those, you get a magnet and you put them on there. If you want to change, you just take off the sign and you put a new sign on. So you can really go to your local Walgreens or Walmart or Kmart or whatever and get magnets and put on there, or you can
grocery
get grocery store and just have fun with it. And if you decide to change it, you change it. So it's sort of neat and sort of evolved from that. We didn't really think about it when you're doing something like that until you get it done. It's like, hey, that'll work.
Hey, I got that magnet on the fridge. Let's stick it on one of the buildings. It was a Coca-Cola. Why not? It looks like a sign. So there you go.
So sort of neat. And then we got lots of little things that we're doing too. So come enjoy it with us. Hi, I'm Dan from Eaglewings, and welcome to the Wild Eagle Railroad, or welcome back to the Wild Eagle Railroad. How about that? You've seen my railroad a little bit here and there, and we've upgraded a lot of things. Right now it's 2012 in April, and since probably the last time that you've seen what we've been doing, we've added all sorts of new little scenes and changed things around. In our, we've actually added a cul-de-sac. We took out the farm scene and of course got bought out by some developer, and we put in a cul-de-sac. And then we've changed the town totally around and created some new buildings and some new scenes. We've added, trying to think of all the different things we've done. We just keep, we always like to change things around and make it interesting for people to come by and see. On one little part, we've actually added a skateboard park and a paintball outdoor gaming. Oh yeah, there's something else. I was just thinking that we actually added little mini golf and made it, I think it was Oz mini golf, so it's like the Wizard of Oz and everything, sort of neat. And let me see, I don't know if we had the Indian ruins before. We have Indian ruins now. Oh yeah, in the cul-de-sac just this year, we actually added a outdoor little railroad using N scale, and it actually have it running. So it looks like a bunch of guys are bringing their trains to run outside, and it wouldn't be a G scale, it'd probably be 1.5" scale or something like that. And then we also created a new park with an amphitheater and stuff, and in that park we actually use HO train and run that for a little like amusement park train for the park. And created, let me see, all sorts of other things. I guess we added, in this one, on our hillside town, we actually have a little Bean Day Festival, because that has to go back in my days when in our little town back in Ohio, we had bean days with the Bean Day Queen and everything, so we sort of downsized that and created that in our little town up there, which is always fun to create something from what you did when you were a kid and stuff. Then in our main town, we actually have another sort of, the town is Spotsylvania, so we actually sort of did like a German fest and stuff and created a big festival there with different kind of rides and stuff like that. And so just trying to make it interesting. What we always hope to do is help people with their ideas, because we get ideas from wherever we go across the country, and look at all the neat things that you guys do and all the little scenes you do, and we take those ideas and then it helps us think about something else. So hopefully we'll give that back to you, so you can maybe take some of this and use little tidbits and bits here and there and create something really interesting and fun for your garden railroad, because that's what it's about, is bringing interest, and hopefully it'll bring, as people see your garden railroad and stuff, it'll bring interest to other people and get somebody else started in the garden railroad hobby, because it is a great hobby and we want everybody to enjoy it. And if you ever are in town in Phoenix, Arizona, everybody is welcome. Just give us a call. You can come down to the shop. You can come over. I'll bring you over to my garden railroad and see what we're doing here, and hopefully you'll enjoy it with us. So have a great time enjoying these photos and this DVD of our garden railroad, and thank you for spending time looking at this.